Adobe Firefly is the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video editing for today's creative process. Built for creators of every kind, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, the budgets aren't getting bigger, and the timelines, oh yeah, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Unlock a better way to make with Adobe Firefly.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Y'all, welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, here for another edition of WWT Live. We got so much to talk about, and I am not alone. The PR princess herself is in the building, Miss Courtney Rice.
But I mean, it's Wednesday, and well, everybody knows what that means. But we have a lot of wrestling to catch up because it is Hump Day. Obviously, of course, it's Double or Nothing week, but we do have a lot of stories, interesting stuff happening in the world of professional wrestling.
This is very true. And I didn't know she was about to leave. Buzz. Sweetest Oops. Honey's in the building as well. Oh, I just took her out. Now put her back on. I was like, is she about to you were moving like this?
No, I'm just giving more reasons for me to show off my chair and stuff. The fact that I got the Dr. Evil thing going on. So buzz, busy bees. Hey y'all.
Hey,
good to see you guys. Ladies night, doing well. I'm loving it.
Yes.
Got a lot to talk about. Coming off of a great weekend with Madame Courtney at 80s Wrestling Con, which was so much fun. And let's get into it, y'all.
Definitely, let's get into it. Shout out to Christopher in the chat, Eric as well. Our super chats are open. So what does that mean? For $1 or $2 or more, you can ask us any questions you want. And well, I guess you can ask us where set is, what street he's on, all that good stuff, and we'll answer it. Also, let us know where you're hailing from, what city, what state, all that good stuff. And what up, Boza in the chat. But let's get into it because it is Wednesday. So before AEW Dynamite, watch the buy-in. So it's a free before the pay-per-view this Sunday with Renee Paquette and Mick Foley. So tell us a little bit more about this, Court.
Yeah, so hold on, let me pull up the graphic for a little bit. So just a little bit, this was actually courtesy of Mr. Bossman himself, Tony Khan. He tweeted this out today that during the buy-in, which is the pre-show for Double or Nothing, if anybody hasn't caught up yet, it is this Sunday. It is free on Amazon Prime, HBO Max, YouTube, and not only Renee, because you would see RJ with her, but we're going to have Mick Foley in his first appearance on an AEW pay-per-view. And it kind of makes sense because it is in Queens, New York. He's not far from New York. But I thought it was very surprisingly and also a good homecoming. I know he's going to receive a warm welcome from all the wrestling fans because it doesn't matter what promotion that you're favorable of. Everybody knows who Mick Foley is and what he contributed in wrestling. And also he is a New York Times bestseller and also just one of the most humble guys in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting. And yeah, we will either have a watch along and or Courtney will be, boots on ground for that. But with that being said, I don't know if you want to get it ready, Court. Sorry, Honey, anything to add to that?
Oh, real quick. Well, I mean, I think this is a cool move for Mick Foley because not only is it about, no matter what promotion you're supporting, this is a big symbolic situation here with Mick Foley because this is also Mick Foley returning to TBS where fans remember his work as Cactus Jack. So that's also a pretty cool deal, like a really cool full circle moment. And it raises a really cool discussion about, whether using legendary figures before major pay-per-views or PLEs or announcements, like it's bringing all that buzz and enhances the excitement, if you will, and credibility possibly, and maybe wrestling should rely on that a little bit more. depending on what they're trying to do. And it also helps elevate the talent. So I thought that's a really cool announcement. Shout outs to Mick Foley, New York, baby.
Yeah. We'll definitely look forward to it. With that being said, I think this is the perfect time, Courtney, to do the AEW preview just for our producer for the future. So let's get into it.
I'm just trying to get my slides in. So AEW Dynamite, top of the hour, yours truly with Timeless Elite Wednesday. You get 3 hours with me, the final stop before Double or Nothing this weekend. If you did watch Collision, you know some of the matches. Kyle O'Reilly will have an opportunity against Jon Moxley for the AEW Continental Championship Eliminator match. You may recall Kyle O'Reilly has beaten Jon Moxley twice. Can it be number 3? Well, we'll just have to find out and see what one of Canada's favorite wrestlers are going to do. Also, we're going to have ahead of the Stadium Stampede match, and this is very interesting, Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks on the same team together, taking on Ricochet, Andrade, and the new AEW National Champion Mark Davis. All this is happening leading up to Stadium Stampede this weekend. You can imagine a lot of shenanigans, a lot of chaos happening ahead of this big and also signature match that has happened at Double or Nothing in the past. We're also going to have the AEW World Tag Team titles. My main squeeze, Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong of the Conglomeration will be taking on FTR, and I'm sure Edge and Christian will be watching this match very closely right before their I Quit street fight. And you could tell there will be a lot of commotion with both of these teams. And also that Weasel Stokely will be probably lurking around somewhere. And we can't forget about the ladies, because we do have some ladies matches happening this weekend. My gals, the Brawling Birds, teaming up with Mina Shirokana and Thunder Rosa, taking on the Forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena and the Triangle of Madness. Obviously, of course, we know Alex Windsor has a match against Willow Nightingale this weekend for the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament. Jamie Hayter is also a part of that Fatal 4-Way match that Tekla will be involved in for the AEW Women's Championship. So expect a lot of chaos and mayhem from all of these ladies, and you don't know who is going to show up. We're also going to have the AEW Women's Tag Team Champions, the Divine Dominion. They've been doing their 5-minute Tag Team Championship Eliminator match. So this is going to be very interesting. Who's going to step up to the plate? Who's going to be? Well, I would tell you, but you're just going to have to wait till my watch along, because a certain tag team came back on Collision over the weekend. So you're going to have to wait and see. And we're also going to have Mr. Will Ospreay. Before he faces off against Samoa Joe, he's facing off against Shibata one-on-one. I'm sure Samoa Joe will be watching this very closely, with the fact him and Ospreay will be facing off against each other this Sunday at Double or Nothing as part of the Owen Hart Cup Men's Tournament. So expect a lot of mayhem, expect a lot of high flying, and also maybe see the Death Riders looking on. You never know. And also, we have Mark Briscoe, who made his return last week, taking on Tommaso Ciampa, pretty much in an anything goes, no disqualification match. These guys have been at it for the last couple weeks, and there is a lot of bad blood between these two guys. And also, don't be shocked if the Conglomeration 50R get involved in this match. Also, we have the return of Mr. Swerve Strickland. If you saw Ring of Honor over the weekend, you know Swerve Strickland made a return and beat the crap out of Bandino. So he's making his return tonight, and sure, he will have some final words to say, because he will be a part of the Owen Hart Cup Men's Tournament, where he's taking on none other than the most wanted Bandino this weekend. And I'm not going to lie, these graphics have been fire the last couple weeks. Darby Allin, the workhorse, or as I call him, Evil Knievel Jr., he is defending the AEW World Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey. He's been on a roll. So all of this is happening at the top of the hour with yours truly in a special 3-hour edition. And is there any match in particular or segment that you guys are both looking forward to?
The women's 8 tag. That's I'm curious, how have they been utilizing Athena? I know she kind of comes on to AEW sporadically, but have they been using her more now, or what is your crystal ball on Athena and her plans with AEW?
Well, it's really interesting because I was saying this in the post show at Ring of Honor. We know she retained, but it looks like there could be some tension between her and Billy Starks because there was a lot after the match.
And also, they're always beefing.
They're like always, but I feel like it's something. It's something there
that'll never end.
Yeah. I know it's like the feud that will never end. But I think it's something that who does Athena see leading for Ring of Honor? I don't think she's going to give the belt to anybody. It's like who can she trust to leave it better than she found it when it comes to Ring of Honor? I think that's something that it's just something that I don't know. Maybe she wants to see. Like who did she see as potential? Who could be the person leading the charge for Ring of Honor? Because once she drops that belt, she'll head on to AEW Dynamite. But I'm happy it is getting some exposure of the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. I just wish it was a lot more after the milestones that she did.
Like, hello.
Yeah. I mean, I think the timing was when Queen Aminata and Red Velvet were doing something against her and Billy Stark. I think Red Velvet would be a good way to kind of take it and do a whole double champ thing. There's options, but again, exactly what you're saying. You know, I think the fact that the allure of because she's been a long running champion, like then what's next? And are they building anybody? I think they are, but I don't know. Her and Billy Starks too. They had a couple of great feuds where it's just like, okay, well, you know, Billy's finally going to take it over, and like they didn't pull the trigger on that. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
I would love for Red Velvet to get it. If she did lose that Ring of Honor television belt, I would love for her to get a shot at the Ring of Honor women's belt.
I mean, I think what would be bigger is for her to be a double champion. Like if you think about it, like Athena, right?
Further,
right. So like Athena drops, she's still the longest running ROH Women's Champion. But then the bigger moment is now Red is a double champion, and now people are going to watch to see how she's going to maintain these two belts, a la like Mercedes in a certain way. That would be, I mean, if I were running the show, that would be the play.
I mean, that would bring more eyes to Ring of Honor. That would bring a lot more eyes.
Yeah, at least like some type of discussion versus, you know, Athena drops it to whoever, and now this person has the belt, and now what? So yeah. But something that is happening for sure, we know is Bianca Belair.
Yes,
she
Jordan,
is ready for this baby.
All-time high.
Oh yeah. For sure, we know that Bianca Belair is ready to be a mother. It's so crazy how we saw the reality show and she was kind of like, you know, I just don't know, you know, this is something I want to do, but I don't know the timing. You know, I think the timing was perfect, the way how everything worked out, and we saw this baby shower. So tell us more with this exclusive with People Magazine, which is a huge thing. They don't feature too many wrestlers on there. So yeah.
This is the second time it's happened because they did it with Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes when Katie Forbes had her baby. And that's pretty awesome to see. That's pretty awesome to see. But just to kind of piggyback on what you said, it's just pretty much an exclusive saying she's ready for motherhood. And she shared some of the photos that were at the baby shower. If you did see her post, we've seen a lot of familiar faces from the wrestling world. Obviously, his tag team partner, D'Angelo Hawkins, was there. LA Knight,
Angelo
Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins. LA Knight was there. Lash Legend was there. Nia Jax was there. So many familiar faces. Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss.
Solo Sikoa. I think Javon was in there. It was a really nice picture of all the guys. LA Knight was there. Like, I was just like, oh, look at them. Like one big happy family. I love it. And they look
just so nice.
He looks divine.
It is. It looks divine. And actually their theme, because it's in the People article where you could read, the theme is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and Over the Moon to celebrate their little one.
Yeah. That's why she looks like a sun and moon goddess. I can't take it. I love it. I feel like this story is even bigger than celebrity news because Bianca Belair has literally become one of those defining female stars in her generation, you know, and this goes to show seeing her openly embrace motherhood and evolving the conversation around women in sports and entertainment, that whole Beyonce line, strong enough to bear the children, get back to business. I feel like that's what you can do when you are the EST. So I can't wait to, I just love seeing her blossom into this woman. Like, we're literally watching her grow up in front of our eyes into a whole new woman. This is gonna, and Montez is obviously, you could tell through the moon every time, even when he's taking, I feel like he has a little bit of more. He's always had intensity, but I feel like he has a little more extra intensity because he's so excited to be a dad. Like, they're both going to be amazing parents. They look stunning, and I think it's also really cool to see how well she's going to balance her elite career with family life. She's going to be fine, and they're all going to be fine. And that baby's going to be spoiled and athletic and talented as hell.
It's going to be a little EST, little EST.
The littlest EST ever.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great thing. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, honey. Like, we've definitely seen her grow up. But another thing too is seeing how women can navigate, motherhood and wrestling. You think of, Awesome Kong in that era where it's like, pretty much when you had a baby, that was the end of your career. And then you fast forward to Becky Lynch, where it's just like, okay, she did it at the top, Naomi, but they're still kind of part of a certain generation, not to it's like they're all within our generation. But you see Bianca now, and it's just kind of like, no, I can do this in the height of my career and, come back and still do all the things if she chooses to. Because if she doesn't want to, that's okay too. So it's going to be great things. Another thing that's going to be happening too is, for the first time ever, a Major League Baseball game and All Elite Wrestling AEW are teaming up for Brawl in the Ballpark, a high octane post game event that's happening Friday, July 10th at Target Field. So tell us a little bit more about this, Court.
Yeah, so this is just courtesy of the Minnesota Twins. They'll be working with AEW, where they're teaming up for a Brawl in the Ballpark. It's a post-game event on Friday, July 10th at Target Field. Admission, the Brawl admission is free, with a ticket to purchase that night's game, where the Twins will be facing off against the Los Angeles Angels. There's not that much details, but they will be giving up a message soon. I'm looking at this team. So there is some tickets available on now, but I would pretty much get them while you can. I know they did a lot of things on social. They had Minnesota's own Top Flight really give out the opportunity there. Hopefully we get to see my guy Anthony Bowens be a part of this, because he plays baseball. So that would actually be a two for the price of one together. But it's a really great opportunity. They are spreading for baseball. It's not the first. This is actually one of the first few times they are collaborating with an official baseball team. We have seen them do it with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which obviously it's a no-brainer. Bossman works for them, which actually makes a lot of sense, but also jumping into baseball, which is really great. And also, I wouldn't mind watching this, because I'm very curious what's it going to look like, if there's going to be any theme matches. Maybe we'll have special appearance from the baseball team. So it's definitely going to be a good show. But if you're in the Minnesota area during the summer, definitely recommend checking it out.
For sure. I mean, the thing I do love about AEW is that they're really exploring and expanding different partnerships. And I think WWE was kind of doing some here and there. We're obviously seeing it way bigger now with their partnership with Netflix, etc. But I feel like AEW was definitely along the lines that they were exploring it beyond the ones that were obvious, if that makes sense. They had a lot of different partnerships in the past. So I think, I think they're using each other, but this is a good thing to see and do. Honey?
Yeah, I think this collaboration specifically also is very interesting to me too, because it says a lot about how wrestling is continuing literally by the day, by the partnership, continuing to expand into mainstream entertainment. Usually for years we've seen wrestling had to fight for these kind of spots and fought perception that it wasn't even a sport in the first place, and it existed separately from traditional sports. But partnerships like this is again part of opening that door and blurring those lines. You know, it's also evidence that wrestling is being viewed as a valuable crossover property now, not just, you know, not just something that, you know, you see people just fighting and calling it a day and they're saying, oh, it's not real. Like, listen, it's a sport. Okay. You try taking those bumps 365 days a year. Okay. But the bigger question also, I think, is whether these partnerships can create like a long-term fan engagement or just simply like just promotional opportunities. So either way, I think it's going to reflect well with the way wrestling is continuing to grow within the broader and sports entertainment, traditional sports entertainment basis.
For sure, for sure. Does somebody want to play his music? Because I never can find it.
I could, I'm quick to find it. Where is it? There we go.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it
Said.
Happy CEO Wednesdays, everybody. And just like that, the ratings go up. It is I, your mayor, back. Been gone for a minute. Welcome back, Mayor. Thank you, TK. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Good to see you, Seth. Welcome back, bro.
Good to see you too.
Oh man, everybody, it's a party now. Sheesh.
It's a party. Well, shout out to the mayor. He was at the Ontario Comic Con this weekend, so he did some great work. A lot of places. Apparently, he might be doing something for Pound Town Wrestling, so we stay tuned for that. That's happening in June. Apparently, there's a whole show, Mayor's Corner, that we've been waiting for to launch. So many things that will be happening.
Waiting for it to launch.
Yeah, we've been waiting for it to launch.
Interesting choice of words.
That's very interesting choice of words.
It's almost like we were waiting for the NXT tag team show to happen that never did, and that was like 3 years ago.
Somebody sent me a subpoena for Monday Night Mayor, but we don't got to talk about that.
Like, or even
we don't know what happened to that.
The clash of the officials never happened either. With the debate, the great debate that never was.
Yeah. Two baddies can coexist. That's what the councilman and I decided, and we don't need to go to war no more. Like we buried that.
Baddies.
Jade's baddies, to be exact. We don't gotta do this no more. Like, we here.
Wait, but we got somebody else here too. I haven't seen this girl in forever. I'm excited to see her face. Hey, Victoria, girl. Oh, wait, where's the camera?
There we go.
There she is.
Hey.
It's a party.
Still waiting on that debate, Jeffrey. You're right. Well, this is actually a great conversation to have. There was, according to WrestlingNews.co, there has been some rumblings as far as WWE planning to rebuild the tag team division, and I feel like this topic of conversation as far as tag team has been, you get to a point and then it falls off. You get to a point, like we've been talking about this for, as far as my wrestling news-esque career for the better part of 10 years. So I definitely want to get the feeling from everybody else, because do you think that they're going to get it right this time? Because we'll start with you, Victoria.
I wish I had higher hopes for this, but I feel like they drop the ball all the time with tag teams. And I love tag team wrestling, and I just feel like I don't know what is wrong with them. But I also think that one of the issues is that they're so attached to this 4 to 5 match card for everything. And when you do that, you really do like push out a lot of tag teams because you're trying to get all your single stars into things.
Mm-hmm. Said?
Do I have hope that there's truth to this statement? No, not really. We just released like 4 or more tag teams, and we're not doing house shows anymore. I know there's going to be the summer of live events, and they're going to go overseas and do the live events, but that's really where your tag team wrestling would shine. It's because they get to show more personality and character away from the TV shows. So like, I don't see it working outside of the formula they're doing. This is why we have R-Truth and Damian Priest as a tag team. This is why you have Logan Paul and Austin Theory as a tag team. It's because we're not allowing character development of our tag teams. We are gone from the yesteryears of like the Road Warriors and like the Acolytes, and like that's what they did. They were tag
New
team
Day,
specialists, and that's okay. We got to teach people that that's okay to be a tag team specialist. We're already teasing dissension with the Street Profits, and they just got back. Like, what are we doing? So no, I don't have any faith. Like, you had Angel and Humberto, who could have been great single stars. They decided to be a great tag team. You brought the Motor City Machine Guns in just because you didn't want them to go to AEW. And the thought of them bringing in more tag teams from other walks of companies is just because they want to have the greed of hoarding tag teams again. And to me, that sounds like, hey, we're going to bring the Hardys in for WWE programming. Just say we have a top tag team and try to do it good for a little bit until they get tired of it again. That's all it means to me.
Yeah. Courtney?
Hold up. I have the perfect clip for all this.
This is bullshit.
It does it more better than I would. Kind of piggyback to everybody because I do like tag team wrestling. This is kind of a slap in the face because you just released the New Day, you released the Motor City Machine Guns, and you're not utilizing some of the tag teams that you do have in WWE. Obviously, of course, with the Street Profits making their return, and obviously, of course, the Creed Brothers, which are incognito. Let me put this in there, incognito. But also, it really kind of diminishes because tag team wrestling, people don't realize tag team wrestling has played an important factor in wrestling. Going back to the Legion of Doom, Natural Disasters, the British Bulldogs. I did talk a little bit about them over the weekend. Even some of the tag teams we grew up when we were kids, it was always fun. And you had that versatility where even though they were tag team wrestlers, they also developed as single stars. And I think that's something that WWE did drop the ball on. I mean, yeah, you are doing live house shows over the summer, but how long are you going to do this for? Where you said a couple months ago that you weren't going to do live house shows. And that's pretty much a slap in the face. And also with the fact, too, you have AAA down there. And you didn't even utilize some of the tag teams from WWE to come down to AAA. I mean, you had the Wyatt Six be tag team champions, but they only showed up once or twice to AAA. So that's kind of a little bit of dropping the ball there. And even when you look at NXT's tag team roster, it's kind of like, yeah, you have Hank and Tank, you have OTM, you have these other tag teams, but it's like, what are you doing with them? And also, I think this is something not just for WWE, but this is just wrestling in general, because I did talk about this many times with TNA. They're kind of in a reset where you have the Hardys, you have the Righteous, you have the System. They're kind of in a little bit of a reset as well. I mean, obviously with AEW, I mean, they're trying to, obviously, of course, because I am tired of the Young Bucks and FTR, but that's a different conversation. But I think this is something that we really need to think about because tag team wrestling is an important part of it. And it also really makes people stand out. So I am a person that loves tag team wrestling, but that's something that's going to be figured out.
Yeah, another thing, it's one of those things where I think it was you said you were mentioning like the budget of it all, right? If you build up the tag team, a la, for instance, the New Day, how many people have New Day shirts and New Day merch and all this other stuff? You're making money off those 2 to 3 guys. So it's like you have to build them up in order for people to want to buy merch. But if you keep slapping, you know, I put a video up on, y'all need to definitely check out our shorts and our TikTok because there is more than enough videos to keep you entertained. But I found a video on my phone of I believe it was in Philly when it was Bianca, Naomi, and Jade, and they came down like they were Destiny's Child, right? Like, at the end of the day,
you can't do that without defining that.
Oh my goodness. At the end of the day, hypothetically, if they really had invested in them and I think how they did it was right. But if they really want to invest in a tag team, they would have made a name, they would have did the merch, and they would have had them at least do a year run at least. So now we can actually buy into the fact. But the problem is that we get these tag teams and then we just wait for them to break up, like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. And it's just like all these people, we're just waiting. They might not break up. They're like, oh, they're still together, but we're surprised because it's almost PTSD. So I think if they actually kind of sell the idea of a really good tag team, then that would make sense. But to piggyback off of what Courtney said, I also agree that, you know, we're just going to be in this vicious loop. And clearly we like to be punished because we are here talking about wrestling because we love wrestling. Another thing that we love too is the Women's Wrestling Archive. You definitely want to support women's wrestling.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate $1, $5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Yeah, and Boss Lady had to leave. So make sure to support the Women's Wrestling Archive. $1, $2, $3. Any support that you have for the Women's Wrestling Archive.
$5, $10,
yes.
$20.
Any support helps. Any support helps with the
$100.
Women's Wrestling. Yeah, pretty much. As what Honey said, because she handles the money. She handles the money. This has been a developing story that's been happening over the weekend, and we get to talk about it. Marty Jannetty. Apparently, there's been a little bit of a situation where the family of Marty Jannetty has confirmed that he underwent a below-the-knee amputation on April 1st, 2026, with Jannetty's wife, Addie, issuing an official statement on Facebook to address the speculation that has built around his health in recent days. The statement followed several days of online discussion, sparked by former wrestler Eddie Mansfield's appearance on the Monty and the Pharaoh podcast, which Mansfield revealed that his longtime friend Jannetty had recently had his foot amputated, and a photograph of Jannetty's leg following the procedure has been circling online in the days since. And pretty much this is the statement that Marty's wife, Addie, posted. The Jannetty family is using the statement to address the recent circulation of private medical information and photographs involving Marty Jannetty. Over the past year, we have chosen to keep Marty's health matters private, and we stand firmly by that decision. However, due to widespread speculation, unauthorized posts, and ongoing commentary across social media and wrestling news outlets, we feel it is necessary to provide accurate information. And she did confirm on the Facebook page, well, you'll see, she did confirm the specific procedure and timeline that he was able to get it. And I just wanted to get you guys' quick thoughts, because we did talk about this before with Buck Bagwell, where he had his leg amputated, but just wanted to get you guys just their quick thoughts regarding Marty Jannetty, and I'll start with Victoria.
Well, I hope, it was successful. I hope it did what it had to. I mean, I can't imagine what that's like. So I hope he recovers and, adjusts to his new reality, which I can't imagine it has to be so hard.
Said?
Yeah, I mean, that's never positive news, but from reading the article, sounds like the procedure went well. Sometime around April 1st. Just wish him just better health and recovery days ahead, and that the transition and adjustment to like what this is post-operation can just be pleasant for him.
Honey?
Yeah, with stories like Marty Jannetty, it's a constant reminder of the the physical sacrifices of being in pro wrestling, and with professional wrestlers make throughout their careers. We celebrate championships and iconic moments and things like that, but there's a bigger and much harder conversation surrounding the long-term wrestling has on performers' bodies and health, and nothing but the best. I'm glad the procedure went well for him. We got to remember, besides being public personas, these are people with that are human beings that are facing significant challenges like we do on a day-to-day basis. And, with wrestling being involved in many ways, conversations about protecting talent, beyond active competition in the future remain very important. We know if you guys have seen, Dark Side of the Ring, or if you've seen any episodes or documentaries that involve Marty Jannetty, you know the stories. But for somebody who has had a pretty stellar career for a career spanning 3 decades, he captured 20 championships within that time frame. So we should, he should be proud of that. And, we wish him the best and a hopeful, healthy recovery into this new permanent situation he now has.
Yeah, that's always the scary part about it, and also the reality that many people don't see, because like you said, honey, if you saw Dark Side of the Ring, if you, like us, we were at 80s Wrestling Con, because at the end of the day, there are people too too that follow the same thing that we do on an everyday basis. And also, I'm happy that the surgery went well and he's on his one way to recovery. Hopefully he gets to connect with DDP, because he's a miracle worker when it comes to this stuff. So hopefully he does connect with him soon. But I do want to wish Marty Jannetty the speedy recovery, and also to his friends and his family and his loved ones. But switching gears, because we talked about MLW on Monday, because they're doing a partnership with Startup. We got some news from MLW, because they announced MLW Fusion returns with a 2-hour premiere on Saturday, May 30th. It's free on YouTube at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday. And their CEO invoked the historic Ted Turner's TBS time slot, quoting, "6:05 is sacred ground. That time slot belongs to the history of the sport, as made famous by legendary Ted Turner. We're not just bringing back a weekly show. We're planting our flag and celebrating wrestling's Southern soul. ML Fusion, it's back. It's free, and it's built for the fans who remember what Saturday Night Wrestling felt like." Yes, and you've seen on the current roster, the current MLW World Heavyweight Champion, Killer Cross, formerly known as Karrion Kross. We do have Mystico, the Good Brothers, Austin Aries, so much more happening. And if you would like to see MLW, they do have some upcoming events in the East Coast, New York City, June 11th, and they will be in Philadelphia for 2 days, June 12th and 13th. But I just wanted to get you guys' quick thoughts on the latest announcement from MLW. And honey, I'll start with you, because it has your guy on here, and I know you were very excited.
Got the Killer and the Smoke show on YouTube every week. Come on now. I mean, it's only right, because we've seen, we've seen, if you guys have been watching socials, you've seen his journey, or else you've been living under a rock. But MLW as a whole returning to Saturday nights is really interesting, because now obviously the wrestling landscape is full. We're crowded. We're busy. We're booming. They're buzzing. There's wrestling everywhere, right? And now this is the part where consistency for MLW specifically, consistency and identity has become crucial, because they've built a loyal audience, with an alternative, kind of like that alternative crowd presentation and featuring talent from larger companies that brings that attraction further. So I think, I think with what they have, and with the way they're progressing and the way things are booming over there, it's gonna bring a lot of good promise. And I will definitely be tuning in to you guys. # we want cross all day, every Saturday.
Every Saturday. Sad, you got any thoughts regarding MLW and this latest opportunity?
No, it's really good for them. They've actually been trending upwards in the past couple of years. If you haven't been to an MLW, it's it's absolutely a good time. I know they've been on the West Coast twice here in the past couple of years, and they're starting to make the rounds throughout the states, and they have a really strong roster. So what they're doing right now by producing a weekly show just shows that there's demand for it, which means more opportunities for your favorite superstars from previous companies or from other. They actually do partner and collaborate with a lot of different companies as well. So they bring people on board for these shows. And before their schedule was like maybe once a month they have their like pay-per-view style shows on YouTube. But now that they're going to be weekly, you can start seeing some of these storylines in real time build. And I think that's beautiful for the brand. It's one of the growing companies, and don't be surprised if in another year, maybe 2, that they get a TV deal. And that's probably the hope for them right now.
Victoria.
I mean, you're telling me Scarlett, I can watch her somewhere. I'm there. Sign me up. I'm huge. My husband like literally is sick of me. I have this love affair with Scarlett that she doesn't know, but and her clothes. I'm obsessed with everything she wears. So excited. And yeah, and the best part of it being on YouTube is I can watch on my phone while my hubs watches another movie, because unfortunately, I don't think he'll be into another night of wrestling content, but I'm here for
it. That is fun. I mean, like said, if you haven't been to an MLW show, you kind of have to, especially since they're coming to the East Coast. It's a really great opportunity. And by the way, with Philly, they're going to be at 2300 Arena. You kind of know what 2300 Arena is. There's so much history there. Hopefully, I get to do some media coverage because it does look like a good show for 2 days. Shout outs to them because they're doing work. Obviously, we did talk about this on Monday, doing a brand partnership with Stardom. It's huge. And now they have this. They're just really trending upward. And I'm really happy to see another promotion doing very, very well, especially making the reference on the Ted Turner time for Saturday Night Wrestling. I thought that was really, really awesome.
Yeah, but I might want to go to that fusion on the 11th. That's in New York too, Melrose Ballroom. I know exactly.
Yeah, they're going to be in New York and Philadelphia, so it's going to be a hot summer for wrestling. Hot. And there's another piece of wrestling history that happened. So 30 years ago yesterday. 30? You guys know what it is. 30 years ago yesterday, the Clicks curtain call happened at Madison Square Garden. It's considered one of the most pivotal moments in wrestling, but had a lot of ramifications because we all know what it was. 30 years. Honey, let me start off with you because you remember this moment. Give your thoughts on this particular moment and how did it change the game of professional wrestling?
I don't know who said it. Maybe Will said something like this. I feel like somebody said this that I've spoken to, but if there's any moment that I would love to jump into a time machine and see myself, this is that freaking moment. I don't even think even the person recording this knew the gravity of what was going on. I mean, technically he did, judging by the reaction, because it's something that's never been done before. And it literally changed the game. And you know, we talked about we talk about, you know, the NWO and the Click and DX, and literally that's literally what forms out of this whole picture. It's like the beginning of V for Vendetta, where that first domino strikes and it just continues to trickle into a bigger picture. Like this, the fact that it's 30 years just completely blew my mind. But what happened there, and I'm happy to say it happened in a city where I'm from. You know, I see that garden every damn time when I take the train. You know, it wasn't just friendships, embracing after a match. It represented like literally a shift in wrestling culture. This was definitely one of those fly on the wall, I wish I was there moments that, damn it. If there was a time machine, I'm jumping in to see this for sure. But classic moment. Y'all already know. Go ahead.
Said, you got any thoughts you want to add onto this moment?
Can't believe it's been that long, but classic moment for a lot of reasons. Like, I'm pretty sure people are on both sides of the fences with their opinions on it. But I mean, definitely breaking the fourth wall, especially but this is before camera phones, cell phones that took pictures. Pretty sure this was on a disposable camera. Mm-hmm. So like the fact that it's still circling, and you can probably get it in 4K now. Pretty sure we got technology, but the fact that it's still circulating and still holds that cultural relevance is huge, because for grown men at this time of their lives, they're probably like, wait, these guys don't dislike each other? They're friends? What are they doing?
Right.
What did I just pay for? All the questions that could have been spiraling in your mind in the 90s, that if you were in that building, you probably didn't know what you just saw. But for the betterment of the business, if you look at what it means now, like, it's good, it's healthy, because you see that this is a job that these guys are doing for entertainment. And I think that was still in the WWF era. Like, it reminds me of Asuka and Io's match last weekend, where it's like they embraced, because it's real emotion. And in the moment, you just want to love on your friends. And I think that's what's dope about it, that we can look back on, that we normalized it time after time from it happening.
Victoria, you want to add any thoughts?
Find my gray hair, because 30 years, ouch. That's taking me a moment. I mean, I think it's one of those moments that when you think about at the time, you know, like Triple H was obviously punished for it. He didn't get King of the Ring that year. You couldn't punish Shawn Michaels because he was, I mean, it's Shawn. I mean, but it marked such a turning point of the business, right? And at the time, so I mean, like Jim Cornette to this day, I'm pretty sure will still swear about it. But yeah, like really the start, that domino, like Hani was talking about, that like everything else really came after that. We would never get DX without that. We wouldn't get the weirdness of the NWO and the whole thing without that moment. And like those things that made wrestling some of the most important, the biggest, the best it ever, you know, ended up being, you know, in a time, all starts because of them going off script and doing something someone had never seen before.
It's kind of crazy it happened. And even to this day, people are still talking about it and reminiscing on one of the huge factors with wrestling. Because like you guys all said, we would have never had the NWO. We would have never had the Monday Night Wars or DX or any historical moments we got after that. And also
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, that's okay. No, that's okay, because I had a thought in there. And it's funny you said, you mentioned Io versus Asuka. It made me think of the Hardys versus the Dudleys at Bound for Glory, where they embraced after the match. And that was kind of like that emotional shift, and everything was off camera and unfiltered. So, honey, you could go ahead.
Well, what I was also going to say, just to add to your point too, the fact that we also got the game Triple H, like we like think about how long that game was played, and mind you, this was at the time where Jeffrey says here, where Shawn was world champion at the time, and this was that move where, you know, the guys were going, Shawn was hitting a dark period. And Triple H was said to be next up at one point. I think it was supposed to be for King of the Ring or something. Yeah. And then instead it ended up being Stone Cold. Like, think about all those things, like all of those things and what ifs. Like, we probably would have never had an Austin 316 promo. We probably would have never got I am the game and I'm that damn good, talking to JR and Jim Ross about how he's going to step up to the plate, you know, and you know, with the whole injury, he literally had to eat crap for a whole year from Vince because everybody else was gone, and Triple H stayed and he ate plates of crap literally. So Jordan, technically, I don't feel bad for Triple H, because if anything, it made him better, and we probably wouldn't even have had the journey that Triple H had, and probably even him in the position he is currently in now. And same for Shawn, same for, you know, for the way the journey of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash went. Like, it was just completely epic, for a lack of a better word. Pun intended, you know, being that Triple H loves to use that word so much. But, you know, it brought the best out of all of them in those years. And that was prime wrestling years, and completely changed everything.
It really did completely change everything. And it's still, and like I said, it's still being talked about to this day. So that's one of the cornerstones. And there's a reason why we love it. We love professional wrestling because it's stuff like this. But that wraps up my story for today of Women's Wrestling Talk. But I wanted to give an extra few minutes because, Sed, you were there over the weekend because you got to see Kurt Angle, you got to see Tessa Blanchard, and I know Honey and I, we were on the ground in Jersey. But Sed, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on because I saw a lot of content happening over the weekend. You got to meet X-Pac, and I mentioned Kurt.
Yeah, it was a good time. Talking with Tessa, Pac, Rob Van Dam, Katie Forbes, Tully. Who else was there? I said Kurt. Really good stuff. Ontario Comic-Con happens annually here in the city of Ontario. It's a space where you can blend all of your nerddom, if you want to call it that. So you have comic book lore, a lot of different types of voice actors, producers, writers, actors come to Ontario over the weekend. Of course, we have professional wrestlers too. Very good time. Got a really fun interview with Tessa about her island song that she would choose. Same with Rob Van Dam and Katie, which I'm pretty sure you guys will like their answer. It was really adorable. Got to do a DX chop with X-Pac, which was fun. And he did do a drop shouting out women's wrestling talk that you'll see here circulating during our commercial breaks. And of course, I got to see Kurt Angle put somebody in the angle lock. I thought about having him do it to me, but I didn't want to get my fit dirty. I was wearing all black. But he also gave me a really dope interview about his thoughts on the women's wrestling evolution, as well as who he has his eye on in women's wrestling today. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to like that interview when I drop it. So hold me accountable. I hate editing. Don't like it at all. But I'm going to get that over to y'all this week at some point. Or if I don't, then, say bad things in chat and I'll try to do it faster.
Kurt Angle is the man of the people. Honey, you want to provide any thoughts that we had at 80s WrestleCon? Because I feel like we did have a lot of fun and we had a lot of content from Saturday.
Yeah, we had a time. It was a hot day. It was crowded. It was packed. Shout out to ISPW and Tommy Fiero for getting us the table and everything. And shout outs to the people that came to our table too, that remembered us from the last 80s Wrestling Con and the last couple events and things like that. It was really fun. Ted DiBiase was hosting the best cosplay. Unfortunately had the ISPW light heavyweight champion had some words for him.
Yes.
But we also saw Jake the Snake, Cheryl Roberts, shout outs to the Dynamite Dolls podcast and everything like that. Shout out to the Squared Circle Cafe. We really ran into a lot of cool people. Got some cool interviews done too. Let's see, what else did we do? I'm blanking. Oh, hello, Wendy Richter. Like, duh.
Wendy.
Just casually hanging out with Wendy Richter on a Saturday, and Harvey Whippleman. We have some interesting things. I'm not going to go into too many details. I'm going to leave that up to Courtney.
We're not gonna talk about it on stream. We'll probably talk about it afterwards. But I actually had the chance to interview Bronwyn Billington, the daughter of the Dynamite Kid. Also, we got to see our friend from WWT, Busted Open host Dave LaGreca was there out of the blue. We did not know Dave was going to be there, and he was so excited to be there. And we actually got an interview with him, which was really awesome because he doesn't do a lot of interviews. But it was really awesome to get one from him. But yeah, they really did. And I got to see David Hart Smith, the son of the British folk doll. That's why I have Lady Matilda. I have my own plush Matilda. Yes. So happy to see David Hart Smith representing his dad and the brand, everything else. But it was definitely a fun event. We're definitely going to get a lot of content happening from us in the coming days. So you just got to give us a minute because we're trying to recuperate a bit.
Got to keep up.
Is there any other stories or anything you guys want to talk about? As what Cody Rhodes say, anything you want to talk about before we get out of here for a 3-hour Dynamite tonight?
3-hour Dynamite. We got a lot of wrestling this weekend, man. A lot. Literally. I don't have any stories personally, but it's just a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
Anybody down to get on Saturday night main event? Watch along?
Oh, Lord.
I might be down for that.
Maybe.
If you're down, I'll be down.
We shall see. We may get a watch on for Saturday night's main event this weekend as well. But Friday, of course, we got both predictions for Saturday night's main event. AEW Double or Nothing. And I'm pretty sure there's another one happening this weekend. But that kind of wraps up our Wednesday edition of Women's Wrestling Talk. And honey, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me buzzing on all things Wrestling with Honey. Catch me around here sometime Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And don't forget, Honey Night SmackDown. Pull up. I'll see you Friday, guys. Should be an exciting one. Paces are picking up At least I hope so. Let's be in better spirits this Friday. See you then.
Victoria, where can the people find you?
All the places you can find me at Victoria Waco, and I promise more wrestling content will be back on my channels now that the Sabres have finally left the Stanley Cup playoffs. Had to give some love to my Buffalo. So yes, more wrestling content will be coming up now that I am not crying and or screaming at hockey.
Said, where can the people find you?
I don't want your follows. I don't want to be found. You guys have seen me on this program multiple times, and I see you guys in the chat snickering about some show that I don't even know if I really agreed to a new show. The mayor was reprimanded from Monday night, so I'll just tell you that. And you guys got to ask the boss lady about that. But they took my last name like Biggie Langston. It's not mine no more. So we will see if there is a show to be determined, what date that is, what time, and if there is ample payment for me to show up on schedule, because the mayor tired. Mayor need a nap. He is old. The most I will give you is this TikTok content that's going to come expeditiously, but the Monday Night Mayor is no more. And I don't know if there's going to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but you just got to wait and see.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh my God. Well, the people can find me top of the hour because I will be doing a watch along for 3 hours of AEW, 2 hours of Dynamite, 1 hour of Collision, because we are on the final stop before AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. Get ready because there's a lot of chaos, a lot of mayhem. You guys know from the previews earlier on. You guys know what's on. Double or Nothing, either I'm on the ground, and if I'm not on the ground, you're going to get a watch along. Either way, you may get something from me this weekend because Double or Nothing looks like a really stacked card, and I don't care what anybody says, but there's a lot happening this weekend. You can follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11 on Twitter and Instagram. I will be posting content, obviously, of course, my interview with Bronwyn Billington, and also Dave LaGreca from Busted Open, and also I will be posting a women's match from ISBW a couple weeks ago. I was commentary for Vicious Vicky taking on Shaza McKenzie. It was a really good match. It was a really good match between both ladies. So hopefully we would get that on WWT's socials soon. So bear with me because this weekend is Double or Nothing. It is. So if you don't hear from me this week, you'll probably hear from me after Memorial Day. But shout out to everybody in the chat, Jordan, Jeffrey, Boza, also our producer from the future, Dylan, for posting out the clips as well, Christopher, Eric, Isaac, everybody for joining with us on this Wednesday edition of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a good evening, and we'll see you on Friday. Hold on.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.